walk to the mango trees. Fancy all the way over there. All fingers gone red already. And it's hurting up here as well. Ow! Lou just got stung by a big wasp. Ow. Oh, that is bad. So I'm sure that's different to an normal one that I've been stung by in the past. That is bad. It's there, look. Yeah, Spanish wasps don't like immigrants. Wasp nest there. See it? Yeah, but did you stick your finger in it or what? No, but there's obviously a lot of wasp nests over here because I've seen a few of them, like little clusters, and they're getting bigger. So I've never had a wasp sting actually. It's going now. I've never had a wasp sting bleed. How interesting that. Bleeding. Whoa. Do you think you'll live? Yeah, I'll live. It makes me think though, if I got stung by about like 10 of them at once, man, that would be bad. I'd be swarmed by wasps. How much venom do you think it would take to take you out? A lot. It'd have 50? To be it'd have to be a lot. But I've seen some pretty big wasps. Well, that one nearly took you down, didn't it? Made me pace around. Yes. It's quite funny, yeah. I just said to Jack, what down here. One chased me and Jack was going, whoa, one's chasing you, look at that, look how funny that is. And I looked back at Jack and Jack laughed and said, look, we're around the net, and there was 3 around Jack. Then one stung his arm and Jack sprints past me. That's literally what happened. These are young cork oak trees. Every single one of these they look like little spiky leaves when they're younger. All this surrounding forest is what gives us all the wildlife and animals that we see. Obviously they're home to all the animals in the forest. Like this morning we literally saw a group of about 20 wild boars and those little babies, which is again a really good sign. Just like the little young cork oak trees, little baby pigs running around. And it's because of the whole ecosystem is so well balanced, just as it is with nature. Stuff like this, perfect example here. This fallen tree here, I've got no intention of removing that from the forest, cutting it up and saving, drying the wood for fires, because that is a really important process of the forest. That harbours, if not more life, that dead tree, than a living tree in this forest. So if you see dead wood on the ground, or dead trees, or little shrubs like this, it's really important you don't just trim it clean and you let it just basically do its thing. In fact, that dead tree is actually feeding all the other trees around it. You can see how much green growth is on the floor around it that is going to take the place of that tree, and that is playing a very important role in the process, so I've got no intention of removing that. It's just unfortunate that most humans nowadays only look at nature as a resource to take from, and they don't look at it as a place to protect and let flourish on its own. We always think that we know better than nature and that nature can't handle life on its own, when it's actually the opposite. Usually you find nature declining most when humans get their hands in it. Like, it's just like, even Spain, the coastline of Spain, which isn't far away from here, it's almost becoming like a desert because we've just deforested it, farmed it. You just see just basically destruction of nature, and then it becomes, becomes like worthless dirt to even the people who want to farm on it. It's almost just taking amazing piece of nature and turning it into absolute rubbish. So it's a shame, but most people need to, I think, address how they look at looking after land, and which is actually the easiest thing in the world to do. So only 45 minutes that way over that massive hill over there, there is a coast, and it gets very dry and barren, especially in the summer, whereas this landscape here stays green pretty much year round. And that's because the trees, the whole ecosystem, and nature just thriving properly as it should do. And I really do believe that if the coastline was left alone like it should have been years and years and years ago, that would be the same as here. It would stay green year round, even on what people consider the dry, barren Mediterranean coast. So we're about 500 metres from the house where these paths started, and this is the spring that supplies all the water to the property for watering the plants, for drinking water, for showers. So it's very important I keep this running and keep it clear, which is what I'm doing now, some maintenance tasks. And if we weren't to collect this spring water, probably here now in the background, it would just trickle nicely into that river, which is pretty much filled with spring water from up the valley in the summer, because obviously there's no rain in the summer. So most of that water will end up being spring water from springs like this one, and we're just collecting a little bit of it, and the overflow goes back into the river. So it's very minimal impact on nature, but also using nature resources for our own benefit to actually enhance nature and enhance the surrounding area by growing amazing gardens and living as good as we can off the grid. That's the key bit, off the grid. So we're not relying on anyone else's water supplies. Can't cut our water off in the dry summers, but I'll show you in a minute how abundant this spring is, and you realise just by taking what we need is nothing in comparison to what nature gives. It's pretty incredible when you see the flow rate of the spring coming out into the tub down there, the holding tub, and I'll show you that in a second. By the way, these are actually grapevines. So now the people who lived on this property years and years ago knew there's a spring here and used it to their advantage and planted cultivated crops like grapes and other edible plants and herbs in this area, because they know it's got a good water source without needing to add more water, because nature's just pumping it out and feeding these plants. So we're going to get grapes around the springs and wild fennel. You can see that. It smells amazing down here. Again, you can't get that across on camera, but there's fennel and mint just constantly as you walk past. Now, I'm not going to take too much credit for the actual infrastructure of this spring and how it feeds the house, because that's the work of the previous owner, Richard, and he did a very, very good job. And now all I've got to do really is just keep on top of it, keep it in good condition, and he gave me a very good coaching session before we moved in on how to do that. So this is the first holding tub of spring water, and you can see basically it runs like this. So we have the spring there, I'll show you the flowing out there, under a pipe, under the ground, into this holding tub, where it's the first filtration, gravity will cause all the silt and the dirt to sink, and then as it rises up in the tub and the dirt sits at the bottom, this black tube here is where it's taking the overflow water down here about 500 metres down to a big holding well just at the base of the hill by our property. And then from there we have a pump every day we turn on, and it sends water straight up to tanks at the house, and that's where we have our spring water for use in the house. But what I've got to do now is I've got to drain this before I clean out the spring, because it's very important this tub is empty here before I start messing around with the spring, because all the dirt that I'm going to brush out from that spring will end up in here, and I don't want it going into the main house supply. I don't want dirty water. This is nature's finest water, the finest water on the planet, straight from the spring. It's a living water that's been charged by nature, pushed out of the ground over years and years and years of basically upwards motion through rock filtration, coming out at the end point here at a natural spring. This is how it's coming out. So that is the flow rate of the spring. That is happening 24/7. That flow rate, that's amazing, that, isn't it? When you see that, it really does show you the abundance of nature, because that is pretty incredible. Imagine if I was to leave a tap running in the house at that rate in South Spain, people would think I'm so wasteful of the water that I'm using. They'd probably report me for wasting water. Yet this is what nature's putting out. That just shows, doesn't it, how abundant nature is. Alright, now I've got to clean the spring out. Tell you what I need a machete, because this isn't doing it. You actually see it coming out of the ground. There's a little gentle flow. It's laid rocks down with narrow little passages for the water to filter into, to run into, which then all feeds to one point, which is a pipe directly under here. So all the water's coming out there, channeling into a pipe, going under the ground and into that white tub before it's settled and then sent off to the main house. I just had a horrible feeling when I did that then. I thought I felt a snake. Should have probably checked that before I put my hand down, shouldn't I? I've just pulled that out of the tube. That was going down the pipe, and that'll block up the flow of the water. So clearing it out like that, help keep it flowing fully to that tube with no blockages along the way. Just clear out more. Alright, cleaned out, flowing good, and back in action. Guess what Jack got me for my birthday? Jackfruit. Wild harvested jackfruit, a full one that is perfectly ripe as well. Jack, to be honest, you've outdone yourself this year. Next year, I don't know how you can top this off next year, really.
I wanted to show you what a proper fruit looks like, you know. Much bigger than the stuff you're growing, Luke.
You know, this is the world's largest fruit, and it can only be grown in tropical places. I've had experience with jackfruit in the past. We got one in Costa Rica, and there's a few people who commented on my video because I did a tasting of the jackfruit and it wasn't ripe. And I know this one is ripe because it's yellow and it's soft. I've already had some.
And it smells good,
Smells
actually.
amazing. Tastes like bubblegum. I know it's a weird taste of fruit. You're probably thinking, what?
Since when have you had bubblegum? I've never seen you have bubblegum.
Yeah, I don't have bubblegum, but I know just from experience, childhood, just people around, I know what bubblegum smells like.
I know what you mean, like. It smells, it does have that kind of aroma, doesn't it?
That is such a unique flavour for fruit. if you've never had a jackfruit and you want to get one just like this, and you don't live in a place where they grow locally, then where should they go, Jack? Where do you get this from me?
Oh, I can't unveil the secrets, I'm afraid. No, I got that from Jurassic Fruit.
Jurassic Fruit. Jurassic Fruit, they're a good company, but they stopped shipping to the UK, unfortunately, because of Brexit. I know that. I didn't know you got it from here. But yeah, if you live in a place where Jurassic Fruit ships to, and you want a jackfruit and you've never tried one, by the way, just for your reference, if you're eating jackfruit at the moment as a meat replacement, that's what this part is. It's the fibres. And they usually come from unripe jackfruit, so it's not even as good. If you want to actually taste real jackfruit, the fruit, you have to buy it like this, or you have to go to a place like Costa Rica where they grow locally and get it from the farmer's market. Well, that is a mega sized fruit, that, isn't it?
I want to see that finish when I next come out, Luke.
I'm gonna save the seeds. I'm gonna save the seeds. I'm gonna plant them. Try and get jackfruit in South Spain. I'm just getting these bits because I'm going to cook them later for tea. But I've got all the fruit ready now, so we can go in the fridge. Don't have to cut into that massive thing. And about on demand. Last time I had attempted to cut an open jackfruit, it was such a mess. It was such a mess, but this time I did it pretty smoothly.
Save me some jackfruit, please. I'll be there in 5 minutes.
That's the walkie-talkie, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, that is probably one of the most useful things I've bought for this entire adventure in South Spain, because that has saved me so much time. Obviously that was a bit of a pointless comment. I'm not even going to bother responding to that one, especially when I can't, I've got sticky hands.
Luke's eating it all. Over and out.
See who comes back with anything to that.
Plant the seeds then.
Lee, I've got plenty.
Plant the seeds.
That was a good comeback, that.
You'll be waiting a long time for a jackfruit tree to grow, just to let you know.
It's like 8 years, isn't it? Seed to fruit.
Well, I plan on being here a while, so it's fine.
Very good. Very good. When I was picking up the pots, there's a massive web underneath the plant pot. I was just looking now, I found a funnel web spider. It's just come out. See it there. It's not nice. I was gonna pick up this pot and press my finger underneath there to push them out, and that's where the funnel web spider was hiding. So I've got to be careful when I'm growing food like this. Because yesterday I almost got by a I don't know the name of them. They're like a black and yellow striped centipede, and they have a very painful sting. They actually grab onto you and then they sting with the back tail. Please tell me this is a joke. And that looks pretty good soil, doesn't it, that? Bet you didn't expect that, did you?
Let me just give a bit of context.
I'm pretty sure this is the driveway, Luke. Not anymore. This is not a driveway anymore. This is going to be a mango tree. Right in the middle of the driveway. because it's not going to be a driveway. I'm not allowing driveways in the middle of the food forest. The food forest is not meant for cars. It's meant for people to walk around to pick fruits from. But if we do need a car coming down there, Jack, we can do it by driving up there, reversing that little gap where I put the lawnmower. Nice little parking spot. This is going to be a mango tree. Look, imagine this. Imagine.
Yeah, but just because there's a space doesn't mean we need to plant a tree.
Yeah, it does. Every space there is on the property, I'm looking to fill in with a tree. Every space. And then beneath them trees, where there's more spaces, that's where I'll be planting bushes and annual plants. It's all going to be covered, and that's the key to having a healthy food forest. Fill in all the gaps with plants. Plant life, improve the soil, improve everything, and you get more food for it. So
why specifically mango here?
Right, okay, I'll explain.
The better be a good
stand back
reason.
here, you'll be able to see. Stand back here. Right. You can see there's an obvious gap there, can't you? Big gap.
I can see there's a driveway there.
Right, there's an obvious gap for a mango tree. Mango trees are subtropical trees. And what else is a subtropical tree? Avocado. Right? Well established, 20 plus years old. That tells me this is a perfect spot for a mango tree, which also requires the same conditions as avocados, which is frost free, lots of sun, protection from a lot of the wind. This pomegranate tree is going to offer some protection. This pomegranate tree. See, it's just flowering now. Well, it's just flowering and they're starting to get pollinated and turn into little tiny pomegranates like that. So that's a tiny pomegranate. In October they'll be ready. And whilst we're here, I might as well show you the avocados. Just to prove it is an avocado tree. That's quite a small one, that. They're actually much bigger higher up the tree. There's clusters higher up the tree. And avocados are a very interesting tree because they have a harvest window from about April, May, all the way to October. And in fact, the longer you leave the avocados on the tree, the richer and more creamy they become. So these are already creamy avocados, Hass avocados. As time goes on, the oils in the fruits develop more and you get that rich, creamy flavour. And it's all at the same time as new mango trees growing for the following season. Because this avocado tree is already flowered and set mangoes for the year after. So it's got baby avocados and fully grown avocados for me to pick all year. And that is pretty amazing considering how good of food they actually are. But that's where this mango tree is going. In between two avocados, perfect slap bang in the middle. In fact, I'm actually going to put two more mango trees on the lower terrace here, but I don't want to go too low because I know the lower we go down, the more frost there is. And I know that because there's an avocado tree planted further down there and it actually died when there was a frost a few years ago. At least that's what I was told. And obviously I don't want to plant a mango tree in the same spot where the avocado tree died because I'm looking for indicators in the land. Look where there's proof that mango trees will work, and that is very good proof.
Any tips for dealing with frost?
Yeah, one of the best things you can do for frost is choose a climate that doesn't frost in the winter as much, which is the Mediterranean climate or tropical climates. But the second thing you can do is you can choose a spot where it's got a lot of tree cover and canopy, because trees have this amazing ability of locking in the heat of the day and keeping it there throughout the night, so there's less likely to be a frost in the night time. If you have an open plain with no tree cover, not only is it baked in the day by the sun, because there's no shade from the trees canopy and over the ground, it's also exposed at night for it to freeze on the ground as well. Whereas in a forest, it doesn't freeze that much because there's a lot of tree canopy cover protecting the ground during the day, and the night time it's locking that heat in, keeping it more subtropical and moderated temperatures for trees like mangoes and avocados. So that is why I'm planting this mango tree here, and I've actually just reached the soil level, which is quite way down in the gravel. So what I'm thinking of doing is loosening this soil up a bit here and then filling the entire hole back in with compost. So I'm not gonna, because as it is now, it's basically like a giant pot surrounded by gravel. I want the tree to survive, so I'm putting compost around the root of the tree, but I'm also going to try and get the tree to grow down beneath this, like that avocado tree has done. So Yeah, let me get back to planting. Now for the final topping of gravel. Notice how I don't like to put any dead goats or fish bone or fish blood or about 20 other ingredients stacked on top of each other. I just like to use a simple layer of compost, well, the native soil, and the only reason I'm actually adding extra compost now is because I'm growing it in gravel. No, but honestly, all this extra stuff, it's not necessary. If you have the correct foundations, and this hasn't got it just yet, but if you do in a proper food forest, you don't need to add all them layers.
Surely you need a bit of manure or something, Luke.
I have never used any manure in any of my fruit tree, food forest, any part of it on the annual beds, never. Completely 100% animal cruelty free, animal product free. And it hasn't affected the produce in any negative way.
Well, it's still green, Luke. It's still green.
Living. Saying that, I need to give it water. So after giving it water, I'll let it have a break and then check on its health tomorrow.
Are you going to say goodnight?
No, not yet.
You're going to...
I've got two more mango trees to plant down there.
You're going to wish it a good life. So wish him a good life.
Saying that, you actually, again, this is quite an interesting thing. You can... Who was it? Which people was it, Jack? There are some people who actually do sing to trees. I think it's like a good omen. Is it a good omen or a good, like, actually, it's like the spirit of the tree. But that's a bit far from me. I'm not that spiritual. Every time I walk past it, I'll smile at it, and then that's it. This is going to be the area I'm planting dragon fruits. So I've got a dragon fruit trellis I'm going to build, stick in the ground, one there and one over there, decent enough space apart. And this isn't even my garden. My garden's a herb garden. This is actually Mark's garden because his house is there, working in that room. In fact, I think I saw him run past a second ago. So he's going to get to have the dragon fruits as his view when he's working. It'll probably help me plant this later.
So your garden's through there.
Yeah. That is going to be an extremely nice feature in it. You come out of a dream garden with herbs in it and flowers under this palm tree out to dragon fruits like that. But like I said, I've got to do quite a bit of work to get the soil better here because
In fact, show us where your bedroom is in context to Mark's.
Right, okay.
Very important.
That's not Mark's bedroom. That's his like workspace. But then his bedroom's behind that. The view is so good on the other side. My bedroom's here. See, I've got a bit of a fruit tree nursery going on outside my bedroom. Very important. These are the trellis tops I've been building. So probably about that high off the ground. I'm going to get that post, stick it into the ground, drill it on top. Dragon fruits, which are here. Got 3 of them. These are dragon fruits. That's going to climb up and then pop out the top there. And then dangle over like on the sides, and then the fruit's going to form on the sides like that. So I've got 3 of these. I've got 3 dragon fruits, 1 of each kind.
How are the figs coming on?
Oh yeah, the figs, 2 main trees. This fig tree, it is absolutely loaded with figs. So they're not ready yet. These probably ready in July, Jack, do you reckon? August, July. But each end of the stick is like that, and there's even more there, look. Another set there. So every single branch, all the way to the floor, is covered with figs. This is the trunk. The trunk there. It was even bigger because it had that as well. Another trunk being sawed off, but now all the energy has been focused into this one main tree, which is growing massive. This is our gas supply. These are actually all empty. We've only got 2 more new ones there. Gas is actually a really good off-grid source of fuel and energy. Like, we cook all our food with gas, and our heating is gas. We will be getting solar panels on the property to get electricity, and in the winter we've got wood burning stoves and wood burners for heat. But gas is actually really good because obviously once you've got this, you take it wherever you want and nobody's following you or telling you what you can use or not use. You've just got an amount of gas that you can do what you want with. So you just get some more of that. And it's actually backed up against this wall because in case of an explosion, it's got a solid brick wall to go through.
Yeah, but the fig tree is going to go down with it, isn't it?
I bet the fig tree would withstand the blast, it's that big. But no, that's the gas anyway.
Question. Food. Do you cook your food?
Right, okay. I'll get into a bit of a deep topic now about food, my diet. I eat a large part of my diet raw fruits and vegetables. I think it's very important to get as much raw, fresh produce as you can, but I still cook foods. Like, you can't eat rice raw, I can't eat sweet potatoes raw, you can't eat other foods raw. Obviously I'm all plant-based, don't eat any animal products, so that eliminates eating raw meat. Some people actually do that nowadays, which is pretty amazing. I think they're like carnivores and we're actually not. Clearly, raw meat doesn't look appetizing, unlike a carnivore looks at raw meat and it looks appetizing to them. To me, fresh fruit like this, obviously you're going to eat it fresh, and it's extremely hydrating and nutritious when you eat it fresh, as close to the source as possible. So that's why obviously growing food is so important, because even if you're buying a fig in the supermarket, it's not as fresh as it was as soon as it was picked. So if you've got any space to plant fruit trees, plant them, and you can eat fresh food as much as possible. So I think it should make up a large part of the diet, eat fresh produce. Well, there's nothing wrong with cooking food as well. At least I don't think so. Pretty sure that, leave that. Put on the post. Digging holes is like the cheapest labour, isn't it? By the way, the reason I'm doing it slow like I am with this, because there might be an electricity wire running under this ground to the house, so I don't want to do anything dangerous. And actually it's too hard to get with a spade as well. It's so compact, had no covering on it for years, baking in the sun. It's not ideal, really.
How much are you charging Mark for this nice little back garden you're building from?
Mark's getting it all for free. All for free. Absolutely ridiculous. Mark, how much you pay me to do this? Alright, yeah. That's what community is, trade jobs, trade work. So I'll do this. Mark B doing something important there, hope anyway.
Look a bit tired, Luke.
I think I'm going to call it a day.
Call it a day, it's only 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
No, it's not. It's definitely not 3 o'clock. I've lost track of time, but I'm better at reading the sun than you, Jack, because it's not 3 o'clock, it's later than that. But it's still hot, and sun does seem to stay up for a long time here.
So what are you going to do now then?
But now it's probably the nicest time of the day. Just going to have a quick bath in the river.
You know what, I'll follow you there, but I'll leave.
You can't film me getting changed. Let me get changed first and then you can film me.
Do you think I want to film when you're getting changed?
Well, you follow me to my bedroom. So
I'll film you going to the bit.
hold on, you can film this, because then you can see it. Stay there. Ready? Let's go. I'm so refreshed I might even do some more work. That was the idea. In fact, I actually think going that river makes you more energised as well as peaceful, because all that water running over you, that charged water, it's invigorating.
What's this now, Luke?
This is a big delivery of mulch. Again, Jack, I have to admit I paid a little bit extra for delivery.
Is this acceptable to just dump in the driveway?
It's the only place we've got. I can't drive into the forest, can we? Remember, Jack, I blocked the pathway with a mango tree now.
Yeah, well, this is the second parking space gone.